What would happen if Mexican food and Italian food made a baby? Let's find out. What's up and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Matt. I'm a self-taught home cook, and on this channel, we make great food from scratch in our home kitchen. Over the last few days, Mexican pizza has been blowing up my social media feeds. If you don't know what Mexican pizza is, well, you're not alone. I just found out a few days ago. I think it's a Taco Bell thing. I love Taco Bell, don't get me wrong. It seems like it was only in the United States. And what happened was they took it off the menu, and this caused the internet to freak out. Taco Bell, being the incredible company that they are, listened to the people and brought back Mexican pizza. They even did a Dolly Parton Dolly Parton was in it. Dolly Parton played the Mexican pizza in a Tik Tok musical. It's incredible. Go check it out. Today, in this video, we're gonna see what all the internet hype is about. We're gonna see if we can make Mexican pizza. So let's jump on the internet and see if we can figure out what exactly goes into this. Pizza has two Z's. Z? Z. Oh, this is good. There is a picture. So we've got a picture of what this looks like. This looks like flour tortillas, almost like tostadas, but I think tostadas are just gonna crack and break. I think we want something soft. So I bet you it's a flour tortilla. Beef, and then some beans underneath. The piece on the top that's really confusing to me, the red sauce, I'm not 100% sure what that is. It's not just hot sauce, that would be way too hot. Probably creating some specific sauce for the Mexican pizza. So let's jump in the kitchen. There's at least a few things we can start on right away. We're gonna start our Mexican pizza by making the tortillas from scratch, because that's what we do on this channel. Into a bowl goes all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. Lightly whisk this all to combine. I'm gonna use pork fat. You could use vegetable shortening, any other type of fat. This will give it a nice flavor. And then using our fingertips, we're going to combine the pork fat with the flour. The fat's all mixed in, so now we're just gonna slowly drizzle some warm water in here. All the dried flour is gone, and we basically have a dough. We'll move this onto a floured work surface. I'll knead this for a few minutes until it's smooth. After a few minutes, looking pretty smooth. I'm gonna set this aside for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe, so it can relax. We're gonna cut these into 8 equal size balls. Pull it in between your fingers and then lightly on the cutting board. And there you go. We're gonna let these rest under a bit of plastic for about 15 minutes. So these have been sitting for about 15 minutes. We're gonna roll them out into tortilla shapes. Clear some room. Flour on the rolling pin. And let's roll this out. We'll take this over to a very hot pan. Tortilla goes in. It's gonna take about 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. We're starting to look for bubbles. The bubbles mean it's about ready to flip. Another 30 seconds on this side. And we've got a flour tortilla. So the next part, what I think I saw was refried beans or something along those lines. We can create those with just a few simple ingredients, so let's make some refried beans. We're gonna start again with the pork fat. Let's melt that down over medium heat. Into the pork fat, I'm gonna add some onions and some garlic, some chili pepper, and we'll let this soften. After a few minutes, we'll add some beans and some chicken stock. I love using these frozen cubes that I make of homemade chicken stock. Great way to store them. It just takes a few minutes for this ice cube to melt, or this stock cube, I guess I should say. Basically give it a few minutes simmering until everything is soft. After about 15 minutes of simmering, everything is pretty soft in here. So let's drain out the liquid and we'll make our bean paste. Gonna use my trusty immersion blender to make the beans into a paste. Let's move on to the next step. Now, this is the part that I didn't know what was going on. Part on top, the Mexican pizza sauce, whatever that is. I think the route we can go down with this is making sort of an enchilada, salsa rojo, that style of sauce. We're gonna use some dried chilies. We're gonna char up some tomatoes and onions, and well, let's not talk about it. Let's start making it. I have 3 different kinds of dried chili mulatto, and we're gonna de-seed these, and we're gonna be very careful. I should be wearing gloves, but I don't have any, so I'm not gonna touch my face or my eyes while doing this. All right, we'll just rip this into smaller pieces. Pasilla peppers, looks very similar, a bit of a different taste. And lastly, I'm gonna use arbol chilies and do a couple of these. All right, chilies are de-seeded. We're gonna toast these, and I am going to wash my hands so that I don't get chili in my eye. Dry pan, chilies go in. This is only gonna take about 30 or 40 seconds. We're just looking to toast them. You can definitely smell when they're done, so we'll set these aside. Char some tomatoes and onions, a little bit of oil, add some onion, a few tomatoes. Shouldn't take long to get some color. You can add some very roughly chopped garlic, bit of dried oregano. Add our chilies back into the pan and cover with a bit of water. And I'm gonna let this simmer until everything is soft, in particular the chilies. Needs a bit more water. We'll leave this to simmer. Everything is looking nice and soft. Let's turn this into a sauce. We'll add a bit of white wine vinegar to balance out some of the flavors. And I'm gonna add a bit of sunflower oil to turn this into a emulsified sauce. Check our seasoning. Oh, that's spicy. Bit of salt. And there we go, Mexican pizza sauce. We gotta make some taco meat. We don't need to use dried packets or anything that sort of comes store-bought. We make things from scratch on this channel. Let's show you how. Start with a bit of corn flour, bit of chili powder, bit of salt, garlic powder, cumin, some cayenne. Do this to taste. If you like it spicy, use a fair bit. If you like it not so spicy, use less. And a little bit of oregano. Mix this all to combine. Okay, we'll set this aside and get our pan going. Just a little bit of neutral oil to get it starting to sear. Add in our ground beef. And we'll just leave this alone to start off with so that it sears on the first side. After just a couple of minutes, flip this over. Now I'm gonna use a rubber spatula to break this down. We're gonna let this keep cooking until all the fat here has rendered out and we have some crispy beef. Everything is mostly cooked through. We will add our homemade taco seasoning. Mix this all together. The taco meat is ready. Let's start assembling this. We'll start with our tortilla, our bean spread. This feels like making a pizza. Bit of the taco beef. Ooh, that beef is good. Another tortilla goes on top. Mexican pizza sauce, I guess is what this is called. And on their website, Taco Bell says a 3-cheese blend. Not really sure what that is, but I have cheddar, mozzarella, and Gouda. I'm sure it's probably not Gouda at Taco Bell, but that's what I have. This on top. Maybe a bit more. This needs to go under the broiler for 2 or 3 minutes. After a few minutes under the broiler, the cheese is melted. All we need to do is top it off with some tomatoes, bit of cilantro, and there we have it, homemade Mexican pizza. Let's give this a try. Let's cut it into pizza slices, I guess. Mexican pizza. It's surprisingly good. The homemade tortillas are really good. They're still a little soft, so it actually tastes like pizza crust. The beans are really good. I think it's probably the best thing on here. But it's actually a really good dish. If you like Mexican dishes, I made a pico de gallo in a video a while ago. You can check that out up in the top corner. But that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Really helps the channel out. Leave a comment if you've got questions about Mexican pizza. Aside from that, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. I don't really understand how this is so good.